What is the stability wheel? The stability wheel is your compass, helps you identify your needs and ultimately set boundaries, which is the core of developing secure attachment. It starts with yourself. Are you able to attune to your inner experience, understand what you're needing, and then be able to communicate them clearly? I'm not pretending like I came up with the idea of the stability wheel. No, this is a concept that has been around for a while. It's a tool that's super helpful. What I have noticed in other practitioners, this is where I differ. A lot of practitioners are seeped in the current dominant paradigms of hetero-capitalist, white supremacist patriarchy. So the approach that I take to the stability wheel, it's a holistic approach. It is trauma-informed. It looks at systems of oppression and how they kind of silently shape our lives. And yeah, it says no thank you. Let's take this approach instead. I'll explain to you in more detail what that means. But first, let me introduce to you the stability wheel. The stability wheel helps you recognize your needs, and it does this by putting your needs into 6 categories. So these are categories that I find are holistic and sex positive. Yeah, you don't have to subscribe to these categories, but if they work for you, yay. And if they don't, alter it however you need. This is what works for me. Okay, so let's dive into the concept of the stability wheel. How is this a tool that's going to help you live your life more in balance and ultimately develop secure attachment with yourself and then with other people in your life? Let's talk about the visualization of this as a wheel. This is so intentional why it's visualized this way. So if you can imagine each of these 6 categories as actually like a spoke on your wheel, the more you're getting your needs met within each of these categories, the stronger your spokes are on the wheel. So, the more resilient you will ultimately be, because life is full of bumps. Doesn't matter how resourced you are or not, there's gonna be bumps in the road. This is part of the human experience, okay? It's not a clean, simple experience for anybody. It doesn't matter your privilege or whatever. The human experience gets messy, okay? And there are going to be obstacles and challenges. It's totally out of your control. But what is in your control is how you respond to them. So the more you're getting your needs met in each of these categories, the stronger your wheel is going to be as you're going over these bumps that come up in life. One little bump is not going to take you out. You're not going to have to go back to the repair shop and recover and really build yourself back up. You're going to be moving more sustainably, more smoothly through life. The other benefit of looking at your needs visually as a wheel, this is something I have struggled with in the past. In the past, when I was looking at my needs, I listed them all out in these big long lists. And then I felt so overwhelmed by all of the lists of needs I had. I was like, wow, I have so many needs, and it feels like they're all competing against each other. Now I have to choose which ones to prioritize. So the thing about the Western mind and the way it's conditioned in the Western world is that we are trained to view things in silos as separate, individual. It's hard to notice that things are all interconnected because the truth of the universe is that everything is interconnected. Everything. But it can be harder to access that reality when the mind has been conditioned to compete against others and, yeah, to really just break things down into silos. So, the benefit of having the stability wheel as a wheel is that for me, visualizing my needs in this wheel form has really helped me to understand really how interdependent my needs are. For example, like how do my physical needs overlap with my spiritual needs, overlap with my sexual needs? Let's give some examples. So when I'm looking at my stability wheel, and by the way, not all of these are going to make sense to you because this is designed for my life, and that's okay. You don't have to understand all of my needs. But I hope by sharing my stability wheel with you that you will be inspired by some examples of maybe what are some of your needs, because it can be hard to identify. It's a skill you got to learn. I've had to learn it, at least. There is so much overlap I have found with literally all of my needs, but particularly, like, just as an example, if we look at the spiritual category, so much overlap, like gardening, for example. It is a spiritual need for me because it is how I'm reminded that I am part of the earth, that we are one big organism, that I am not just like an individual human being floating around, not related or connected to anything. It helps me remember, just the life force energy that is alive and flowing through all of us and the interconnectedness of it all. So it is part of my spiritual health to be in relationship with the earth. If I'm disconnected from the earth, I'm usually depressed. It's usually a big factor in my depression. There's other factors that go into it too. So yeah, gardening, it's like definitely a spiritual need, but it also is a physical need. Touching my skin to the earth, it has so many health benefits. I could make a separate video about that. Let me know if you want to know about the health benefits. And in this case, it's part of my social health too, because gardening for me, it's usually something I do with friends or I do it in community. So yeah, just by gardening, by doing one simple thing, it doesn't fit cleanly into one category. And guess what? Life tends not to fit easily into categories. So don't get too hung up about, oh, which category should I put this need under? It really doesn't matter because they're all so interconnected. The idea is that this is just a format for you to help guide you through identifying your needs. So what I recommend doing is color coding, the way I've color coded here, to make it so visually clear to you that by investing in even one of your needs, like for example, if I'm investing in my spiritual need of gardening, of being in relationship with the earth, that it's not taking away from my other needs, it's actually also contributing to my social needs, to my physical needs, as one example. There are infinite examples of what this could look like. I'm going to be making separate videos for each category of needs, and I'll be like providing you with questions to help you identify what are your needs in those categories. If you need additional help, feel free to like book a session with me on my website. I'm an attachment coach and a spiritual slut. I help folks transition into non-monogamy as they develop secure attachment, and I particularly help folks take hierarchies out of their relationships. It is a spiritual practice to be on a flat playing field and just being in this place of interconnectedness and interdependence. You can also check out any events that I'm hosting. From time to time, I will host a whole workshop to help folks complete the stability wheel in its entirety. It really is a compass for you to developing secure attachment. So it's so valuable to be able to be in community and complete the wheel together, get any questions answered. So check out any events that I'm hosting on my website, thehumanconditioncoaching.com. I will leave a link in the description. For more resources on developing secure attachment and taking hierarchies out of your relationships, transitioning into non-monogamy, subscribe to my channel.